How's it going, gamers? Chris here with Vanguard Central. We got ourselves a Reiju deck profile. Very fun deck, all about Dawn manipulation and all that jazz. So her effect is when a Dawn card from your field is returned to the Dawn deck, you get to draw one card, so you get to keep up a lot of card advantage that way. And the whole deck is revolved around minusing Dawn, managing your Dawn versus your opponent. So let's get out of the easy stuff out of the way. Is 4 Kingdom of Germa and 4 vanguard Sanji. These are kind of your searcher cards. So the Kingdom of Germa is really important because you can trash a card and you look at the top 3 for any thing that includes Germa. So you can search the Sanjis. The Sanji is a top 5 search for a Germa. So these basically let you get all the pieces for your deck because it is a very combo heavy deck. You're looking for like kind of system specific things and to get it going. And so these are the searchers that help you get there. And the big oomphy plays is our Porsche, and we'll just get the Foxy Pirate package out of the way. Is our Porsche and our Chopper. We've had to cut down these in the newest updates because before we were running 2Ks that were Foxy Pirates so that Porsche can search them, but now you have so much other searching and drawing that and other 2Ks that are actually valuable that you don't need to play those, and so we just stick to the Chopper and the Porsche. The Porsche, if y'all don't know, it's a Dawn -1. Look at the top 5 for a Foxy Pirates. It's anything, so you can actually grab herself or the 2020 Chopper. And then you put the rest at the bottom of the deck, and you play a purple character of power 4,000 or less. So that's all your babies. So if you're unfamiliar with the deck, it's babies, and they transform into big ones. We'll get to that in the next set of cards. So you can play the babies off of this, and then transform them into the big ones. So, and the top 2020 Chopper is a nice stall tactic. It's a blocker, and if you have Dawn less than your opponent, less than or equal than your opponent, you can add a ramp of Dawn. So that's going to be pretty much the whole time playing this deck. So let's talk about why Porsche is so good. It's primarily for ETG, and so ETG. These are the kind of the classics that you need to be playing for baby ETG and for vanguard ETG. So the plays, you play Porsche. Porsche is going to let you play this one, and this one's effect is Dawn -1. You trash this character from the field, and you can play a big ETG, costs 7 from your hand or trash, and put that into play. And then this one, if you have Dawn less than or equal to your opponent's field, you minus a character 2,000 power and it gains rush. So this one's going to beat into your opponent's characters, clear the field, or can rush to apply a lot of pressure. So that is basically this right here is basically the main combo of your deck. On turn 3, if you're feeling risky, if you're feeling like you need to be aggressive, basically, you can go turn 3 Porsche into ETG into a 7k rusher, and that's an insane turn 3, but it does Dawn -2 early in the game, so it's a little rough to pull off. You're going to be hurting for Dawn. That is not the only ETGs we play. We're going to play 2 copies of the new ETG from OP11. This is a blocker, and basically it can mill your own deck to get +1000 once per turn when your opponent attacks. So it's just a nice defensive card. So sometimes you're not going to be able to play this really aggressive style. So I wanted to include these guys so you can have a nice blocker and some free counter. No one ever complained about getting some free counter, am I right? So the other main baby we play is, of course, vanguard Reiju herself. Let's put this one over here. This card is kind of the draw powerhouse for the deck because its signature combo is the level 4 baby Reiju. Is a 5,000 power, but on this card, if your Dawn is less than or equal to your opponent, you draw 2 cards, and you have 5 or less cards in your hand, you draw 2 cards. So combining these 2 together, you get to draw 3 cards for 2 Dawn, basically. Oh my goodness, absolutely crazy. So I think one thing that if you're new to this deck, you need to know is when you do the Reiju effect, it's a Dawn minus and then plays the Reiju. And then both of these effects kind of activate in the same timing windows you can choose. So if you have 5 cards in hand, you can draw 2 and then draw 1 to still get the 3. So that's important to note. And if you don't have this Reiju, we have a brand new 2k counter Reiju. If your leader is vanguard family, which of course Reiju is, you can look at the top 5 and get 1 Germa, add it to your hand, and trash the rest. So that's going to build up your trash big time. So you'll be able to get all these babies in the trash for your little guys. You get the big boys in the trash for the babies. That's really important. And also kind of just help you fix your hand. Or maybe you just have a massive hand for whatever reason. You can't use the purple Reiju. You can go into this one. So this is the main reason we don't play the Foxies anymore, because we have new 2Ks. And then our last little babies, I'm going to put them up here, is 1 Niji, and 1 big Niji. So this one I debated on. So basically the point of this is to make your judges a little bit stronger. I'd like to play a little bit more, but the deck feels a little tight right now. But this Niji, basically what it does is it can KO a 2 cost or less or return a 4 cost or less to the hand. I think I've seen some people play the 2K here, which I think it's just a 2K with the same stat line. I really want something that can return some things like get Deej's Burgess out of here. Well, I guess you can't because it's on play. But basically get an attacker off the field or KO a KO or blocker that's getting you in your way for lethal, something like that. I think has a little bit more utility than just playing another 2K. So that's my thoughts there. So we got the 2 Nijis. And then our lastly, we go for our 2Ks, which are Black Maria and Vinsmoke Sora. So Black Maria is really, really important if you're going for these aggressive plays. Maybe you Porsche into Black Maria, and then you don't get to lose, don't stay too much behind on your Dawn. Like I said, if you do Porsche ECG into the big ECG, it's a -2 Dawn. So if you don't have Black Maria there to help you recoup your Dawn, then you can have a rough time. Basically just adds 5 Dawn and then goes back down to your opponent's Dawn. So you got to have this in those matches where you really need to be juicing your Dawn a lot. And then Vinsmoke Sora lets you grab any of the baby ECGs, Reijus. I don't know why you grab that one, but you could from your discard. You just could swap a card out and you get to grab these back. That will help you kind of reuse ECGs in late game or make sure you have enough cards in hand, whatever it may be. And then the last card is 3 Judge. I really like Judge, so I wanted to play 3. And this is like the big boss of the deck. You get to play any number of babies with a different name. Derma is 6/6 with a different card name, 4,000 power or less. It does trash a lot, it dawns a lot, but I think it's important to play 3 because a lot of the meta right now likes to keep Dawn up for Gum Gum Giant and stuff. And he has a Dawn -1 during your activate main. You can rest your opponent's Dawn cards. That means they have to keep up extra Dawn for the Gum Gum Giant. They might not be able to afford that. And so you get to apply a lot of pressure on them, basically either force them to go for game if they can't keep the Dawn up, or they don't have, they want to keep extra Dawn up, or force them to awkward play. So I really wanted to play 3 of those. And then that's also a reason why I wanted to play ECG, because sometimes you get to the point where you play Judge, or play 2 of these exactly. So sometimes you get to the Judge and it's like, I can try to win. You're not in a spot to like live when you play the Judge. But if you have some more defense, like if you have this ECG, you get to bounce one of their attackers with this one, and you get to draw some cards back. Then you could play the Judge and have a better chance of living in that situation, where sometimes you might not have any field. You have the Judge in hand, but if you play it, you don't have any. You lose all your cards in hand. You don't have any defense. So I wanted to be able to do a little more defensive Judge. So that's why I put 2 of these, and I focused on this one especially. So that's the Reiju deck that I'm working with right now. I know that there's some strategies to versus green purple Luffy. If you go versus the secret Luffy, which if your opponent ends with 5 Dawn, if your opponent has 5 Dawn, right, then it's bad news. But the hard part of that is that means you need to end your turn at 4 Dawn, which is not a lot of Dawn, first of all. And then the next turn you're gonna go to 6 Dawn. And that means you need to -2 Dawn to get back down to 4 Dawn. So you either need to have 2 babies or you need to have a Porsche and a baby. And it's really hard to, even if you have 2 babies, it can't be an ETG because that's all your Dawn. Or you have 2 Reiju babies, or you have 1 Niji baby, or you do the Porsche and have any of the babies. It seems like it's not worth it, so I think it's better. I don't know. I could test it a little bit more, but it just seems like it's not worth it going for that play. But if you did want to, I would probably recommend adding in more cards that Dawn minus. Maybe some cards that there's some kind of bad cards, honestly, that Dawn -2 to give a KO of 5 cost or something like that as an event. So that might just be something you usually KO, stay at low Dawn, and then kind of keep your pressure going from there. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. For OP12, some final thoughts on OP12. There's a new Vinsmoke Reiju, which is if you have 4 events in your trash, it gets plus 2,000 and it's a +5 cost. So it's a 7k blocker and has blocker. It's a 7k blocker that has 9 costs, which is really hard to get rid of. I might try to fit it in, but as you see right now, we don't play any events. So you maybe have to swap these guys for the event card and then fit in some other random events, maybe take out these just so you have a better chance of doing it. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I definitely try it out, but we'll just have to see once OP12 comes. Thanks for watching. Have some fun with Reiju, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.